Hi there, my name is Rebecca Kieser, and today we're going to learn how to paint florals with a couple of tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, but this is going to be what we're going to paint today. So firstly, we're going to need a watercolor brush, we're going to need some watercolor paper, we are going to need some paper towel, water. I chose to use these three colors, this yellow ochre, sap green, and this crimson red. I also have a scrap piece of paper that's good for testing out your colors to make sure that they are the right like consistency and the right opaqueness that you need, like if you want it to be super dark or maybe more like translucent, so you would need more water for it to be translucent. We can talk about that when we get into our painting. I also really like using this plate for mixing. It also has a lot of dry colors that I've used throughout the years and through paintings, and that's something that I really like about watercolor paper, or watercolor paint, sorry, is that this will dry and you can just add water to it and it just like reactivates the colors, so you can always keep them. Watercolor is really good for beginners. It's easy to use, easy to get. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so firstly, let's get our brush nice and wet. Watercolor brushes are really great for holding in the water and paint into its bristles. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick up some of this crimson red, and all we're going to do is our brush is super wet, we're just loading it up with some of the pigment, and we are just going to drop in circles, little dots around the area where we want to make a flower, and we're going to make them just like bubbled almost, so it's like a little bubble of red right here, and we're going to put 5 of them kind of close together but a little bit apart into like kind of a circle of where we would want to make our flower. So now here, this is one of the techniques that I've learned how to make flowers, and I really enjoy it. So you make like that big bubble that's full of paint and full of water, and now we're going to take our brush sideways. I'm just going to slide my paper a little bit, and we're going to just squish the paint down. So remember, this is full of water and full of paint. You can kind of see it right there. So we are just going to squish it down and move it out. And so this is going to create like a petal effect. It's not going to be perfectly round, but that's not what we want. We want it to look more like natural and organic. So we're just squishing out the paint here, squishing it out. Okay, so I'm starting to dry out on me, so let's pick up a little bit more paint, move this one around a little bit. Okay, so you can see the different areas where I have really translucent here and then it goes darker. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this color and watch what happens here. We're gonna pick a little bit up and we're going to just drop it into the center and watch how it just like blends into the rest of the flower. So we're just adding a little bit of this color into here. So you can see some of the areas have dried faster than others. This is it's dry right here, and then this is still a little wet. So this is something that you would run into when you're painting outside like I am right now. So we're just going to just add a little bit to our flower, however you feel like you want it to look. I think I'm happy with that right now. I actually am going to put a little bit more of this crimson red into my paint tray right here. Okay, so let's just do another little flower right here just to show you this little technique here. So we're loading up our brush with water and paint, letting it just sop right up. Now we're going to do our little dots here, trying to get as much water and paint on the paper as we can. And now we're going to squish it out. Just drag it into little petal shapes of our flowers here. And then just whatever you feel like. If you're wanting to add a little bit of petals here, just like little lines, so the petal's not perfect. We're gonna pick up a little bit of color here and just drop it in. Just watch how that just blends in together. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up this yellow ochre, sorry. And so this is wet right here. So if I drop in some of this yellow ochre, it's going to spread into the flower, which I think is quite nice sometimes. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that and just watch how it blends in, kind of creating a really cool effect here. So then this one's dry. So, oh, it's a little wet. So some of it's bleeding and blending. So we're going to leave that. So now let's just quickly do some petals and some stems here. So we're going to pick up this sap green, and then we're just gonna pick a spot where we want our stem to start and just drag it down. And put one here. And it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. And then we're just going to squish our paintbrush down to make a stem. So I'm going to turn my page, but if you see, I'm just going to lay my brush sideways almost again and just squish it and drag just to create this little stem, sorry, this little leaf petal. Okay, so there's a quick little tutorial of our watercolor painting. And so as you can see, so it's still quite wet, so because I picked it up, it's starting to like run down. That's kind of a cool effect too, if you want to do that, where you can just like move your painting and move the pigments around. But anyway, I hope that you enjoy and I hope that you try it out. Thanks and bye.